Hello, I am high right now because I just got done working out for 3 hours because I'm preparing to go to a wedding. So, excuse me if my acting just goes over the top tonight. And I'm just giving a heads up. And by the way, I've been in jail for almost a week and nobody's gotten me out of here. God damn it.
I shut up you and get back to your cell and eat your bloody gourd.
I'm in my cell. I've been doing math equations all over the walls here. For some reason, there's a little bit on the wall that says Soseki is a cat. I don't even know what that means.
Looking like the cell from Sonic Adventure 2.
Yes, exactly.
Oh god.
The reason I'm in here. Oh, and by the way, Circus, you weren't here for this, but there was a wholesome moment with our favorite vampire prosecutor, and it melted everybody's hearts before we went to break.
Like, I was thinking more about it, and I think it was more than like, I bet Van Zeeks was also like helping Dog with like some of the math stuff too. Like, 'cause come on, like to be a prosecutor, you have to be really smart too.
Yeah.
In other fields.
And I bet you he's gonna be all over whoever did this. Like, once he finds out who did it, he's gonna be, like, all over it. Like, I'm taking you down along with this Nipponese defense attorney. And Echo. Alright, let's get going.
Alright then.
Oh, yeah, and there's alternate costumes in play, so you'll get to see some of that.
Yay.
And I can't tell you when Sasato's coming on Self, because I'm not spoiling anything.
Alright. Alright, so I have 1-6 then.
Yes. I can't believe it's been 6 months since I was last allowed to work in court. And now here I am, back at the Old Bailey. Mr. Naruhodo! Good morning, Professor Hairbrain. I don't understand! It doesn't make any sense! The atmospheric pressure in here is off the charts! I've never felt anything like it! It's crushing me! I feel it every time I'm here, that gravity.
I thought it was an anxiety attack, but okay.
I think that's probably what it sounds like to me.
Well,
Either that or a panic attack.
Well, this is Britain's highest court. But are you telling me it's fitted with some kind of device that can actually control air pressure?
Yeah, it's called an air conditioner.
I think it's probably all in the mind. Ah, yes, well, you won't let me down, will you, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm counting on you in today's trial. To save my life! To save the secret of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine from being made public! Yes, I understand. I know what I have to do. I have to establish that the explosion 2 days ago was nothing more than an unfortunate accident. Well, I'm sure there's nothing to worry about, really. Justice will prevail. My commensurations, Mr. Naruhodo? You appear to have been lumbered with the most tiresome case here? Mr. Sholmes, I didn't expect to see you here in that Japanese getup.
That was very mean, Muno. Leaving me alone at home with Hurley. It took me at least an hour to wake him.
Is it? Are you? Sherlock Sholmes! Indeed, sir.
Yes.
I am he. Sherlock Sholmes. Oh, I've heard all about Oh, I've heard all about your exploits, even whilst living in Germany.
Ah, yes. France magazine is on sale in Germany, too.
This month's installment was sublime. Your deduction in the adventure of Silver Blaze was wonderful. Ah, yes, a memorable case indeed. It concerned a snake, I seem to recall.
No, that was the speckled band.
Well, thank you for coming. I do appreciate your support.
I am not used to seeing him looking like this.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, my dear fellow, but I'm afraid I can't stay. I need to find my real clothes. Oh. I have urgent business at Madame Tuspel's. You mean your waxwork job? Echo.
Echo.
No, the waxwork abduction, of course. Madame has engaged my services. Ah, so you're trying to get to the bottom of that ransom note, are you? The week's wages depend on it, as does the safe return of the waxwork, naturally. As such, I intend to give it my undivided attention. Oh, well, never mind then. I understand. Echo.
Yes, you're echoing.
Of course, with my skills of observation and reasoning, resolving the matter will be as easy as proverbial pie. I shall return forthwith. For until I solve the case, I shall have no money to afford a pie of any description.
Oh.
I want pie.
Then you
want pie.
must so absolutely give it all your full attention, Hurley.
Quite, Iris, quite. But life is riddled with irony, you know. Whenever I give something my full attention, I have a quite insatiable desire for a pie. One of the universe's intractable mysteries, you might say. Oh, yes, quite, definitely, absolutely, I totally understand. Is someone a little starstruck?
Yes, he is.
Mm-hmm.
I wish you the very best of luck, Professor Hairbrain. Why, thank you! Before I depart, Mr. Naruhodo, a word in your ear, if you please. What's this about? As you have remarkably little grounding in science, I feel I ought to inform you. As compelling as this super high voltage instantaneous kinesis hypothesis may be, a practical implementation such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exposition is quite impossible. But the professor said the demonstration was a success. Yes, it would appear that he fervently believes it was.
I've read Professor Bunnybrain's paper about it too, no? And I have to say, I'm sure it can't be done. It could barely be done theoretically, let alone practically.
So he's completely barking up the wrong tree? But how could... But how could an experiment that had no possibility of succeeding in fact succeed? That's contradictory. And it's that contradiction that will be at the heart of the trial, I've no doubt. What's
You
that
know, I think
supposed
I'm
to
starting to like him better in this costume.
Well, I'm gonna keep it on. Now, I must hurry along. I wish you the best of luck, my dear fellow.
See you later, Hurley.
And now the
Well, it looks like you're on your own today, Runo. But chin up. You can do it.
Oh, what about you, Iris? Echo.
Can't help it.
I'm afraid I can't help. There's something I need to do.
I see.
It's going to be a big surprise for you when you find out what it is.
That sounds ominous. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court is about to be in session. Make your way into the courtroom at once. We're on our
He's from
way.
bad.
And check your email, for God's sakes. I've been trying to invite you to the pub. We could drink some cold ones.
oh, that reminds me, I found an iceberg chart for Homestar. I meant to
Ooh.
share it.
Yes,
Ooh.
share it afterwards.
Ooh.
An experiment.
This is gonna be funny.
An experiment that the laws of science say can't possibly succeed, and a scientist who's convinced that it did. That's the riddle you have to unlock here, Renosuke. That's the key to this case.
According to all laws of aviation, bees should not be able to fly. Their little wings are too small to carry their fat little bodies. But the bee does not care. It does as it pleases. I
What the
got that
hell?
wrong. But yeah.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are sitting today for the public trial of Professor Albert Harebrain. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready. The defense...
Ooh.
Ooh!
I love it.
The defense is ready, my lord. I'm 6 months out of practice, and what's more, this costume is badass.
Wait.
I'm without Sasato-san today. Oh, is it just my imagination, or does the air in here feel even more oppressive than usual? So, I must say, I recollect the victim of this case all too well, Mr. Odie Asman. Mr. Asman was well known as a financier, though that was merely a front for his diverse criminal activities. It was only a month ago that the man appeared in court prosecuted by you, Lord Van Zeeks, but the jury unanimously found him not guilty.
What?
Because every member of the jury had been bribed by the sound of it. These powerful London criminals are prepared to go to extreme lengths to keep their freedom. But 2 days ago, on 21st October, Mr. Asman met his end. The work of the Reaper, was it? No comment. If that is how your lordship would describe divine retribution. But the fact remains that Mr. Asman's death was a direct result of the actions of the accused, Professor Harebrain. Very well, then. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people. Are the 6 of you ready to fulfill your societal duty?
Oh gosh, it's a guy voice. I'm most gratified to have been selected to carry out this important civic duty, my lord.
To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly, it sends shivers down my spine.
Oh my god.
Science experiments, magic
this is me.
conjuring tricks, courtrooms. No, that's me.
Oh.
Right,
Sorry.
Joe?
Yeah, you got 4 and 5 circus.
Alright. I can't keep up anymore. Go on.
You thought it was like one of your guys.
It looked like
I was
one of
trying
my
to say-
guys.
Science experiments, magic, conjuring tricks, courtroom trials. All are nothing more than performances.
Any suspicion of scholars that defiles the reputation of science deserves to be hanged.
Jesus.
Oh my.
He's already
He looks
he's already going for death.
He's a freaking scientist, dude.
We have to listen to what both sides say. The Vince, in Sample 1-1, that it isn't it.
By the way,
Why the fuck am I eating corn?
by the way, you can't
He
hear
caught on
it.
the god.
By the way, you,
like a typewriter.
yeah, you can't hear it, but there's typewriter sounds going along as she's eating the corn.
First your character is eating fish and chips, and now you got one that's eating corn.
Let's face it, my characters are foodaholic.
Oh.
He's like, yeah, I don't
It's
give a
okay.
shit.
Wasn't like this, my day. Wasn't like this at all.
It's the same guy from last time.
That's the police killer Automo lookalike again. And he's as exhausted as ever, it seems. Now, as I'm sure you are all aware, the incident we are here to judge today tragically took place at the Great Exhibition shortly after its opening. Though the death toll could have been far worse. With the exception of the victim, no one was killed. Nevertheless, the dream of the science being exhibited rapidly turned into a nighttime for the spectators. Or nightmare, sorry. A tragic turn of events, and
Again, close enough, I hear.
as such, the eyes of all London, no, of the whole world, will be on this trial. It is our duty to reach a swift and just conclusion, I feel.
Wait till they invent a court TV.
I am not Judge Judy, thank you.
I meant the channel, but okay.
So, your opening statement, please, Lord Van Zeeks. At the heart of this incident is technology never before demonstrated anywhere in the world. One of science's latest developments, I take it? The government is keen to capitalize on the Great Exhibition to improve Britain's technological advantage. The technology being demonstrated by the accused was described as super high voltage instantaneous kinesis. Good lord! It's designed to disassemble human subjects using extremely high voltage electricity and beam them instantly to another location where they are subsequently reassembled. Kind of like a MacGyver version of Star Trek technology.
How I wish we had that technology now.
Yeah. Is such a thing even within the realms of possibility?
Well, I don't believe it, that's for sure.
We lost Mooney.
Oh no.
Do we lose her?
Mooney.
Mooney, come back.
Oh, she's muted.
Should I do a fill in until she gets back?
Sure.
She was 2 and 3, right?
Yeah.
Disassembling people with electricity. My goodness, how shocking.
Ha! The whole world idea is absurd. The hypnosis would never stand up to the sanctuary. God damn it. Scrutiny. Sorry.
Sir, I believe you are a fellow of the Royal Society, are you not? An expert in your field?
I am, and my word on the matter can be considered final. Instantaneously kinesis is a poppycock.
So this expert and Mr. Sholmes are in agreement. It's impossible. What is the prosecution's view on the matter? The prosecution would assert that the accused's instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a success. What?
What?
Oh.
Order! Order!
I'll take a cheeseburger.
You can have it after the trial. We ran out of burgers and cheese. Somebody ate all our cheese.
Sorry.
I blame
it was
Homestar
probably
Runner.
me. Oh, never mind.
The professor's hypothesis is currently under investigation by the British government. If it is deemed to have merit, a substantial research grant would be made available. The accused made use of the invention built on his new hypothesis to take Mr. Asmon's life, in order to be the sole benefactor of the grant. But... This disastrous demonstration was no accident. It was carefully designed from the outset to end the life of the victim. Thank you, Lord Van Zeeks. The prosecution's stance is clear. But you will now bring forth witnesses to substantiate your claims. Gladly, my lord. Boss mode. Bailiff, show the first witnesses to the stand.
Oh, god damn it.
He's back.
Mr. Tom.
Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court.
So, Tobias Gregerson, Detective Inspector of Scotland Yard Homicide Division, and part-time chip eater. I was on duty at demonstration on the day in question, and in charge of the following investigation.
Albert Harebrain, this is a scientist. You were born in England, but have been carrying out research in Germany in recent years, correct? Yes, that's right. After graduating from university here in Britain, I went to work in Germany and made an amazing discovery.
Is he sucking on his thumb?
Which is, yes, I'm biting my nails. Which is what brought me back. I had to demonstrate my incredible hypothesis at the Great Exhibition.
What you demonstrated was incredibly alright. An incredibly explosion.
But the science was a success. The instantaneous kinesis worked. Everyone saw it. They must have done. Yes, there was the terrible accident, but the demonstration of my hypothesis was a success.
Well, the much undeniable, as shown in this photograph taken by the forensics investigation team.
This was taken inside the Crystal Tower, I take it? The centerpiece of the exhibition, no less.
That's right, my lord. Seems the victim ran straight into it. I was set up to say ram, didn't I?
No. I see. Very well, submit the photograph as evidence.
As the court heard, the victim of the incident was Mr. Odie Asman. There has been a number of allegations made against the man, but putting them aside for the time being, he was the man who financed the research for the expedition experiment and the demonstration itself.
I see. So to summarize the situation, the defendant is accused of taking the life of the man who funded his work. Would that be correct?
Exactly.
But couldn't it be that the explosion was caused by some malfunction in the apparatus used for the demonstration? That's right! That must be it! My splendid machine! My poor splendid machine!
You saw it yesterday, didn't you? We can't even examine the wreckage thanks to the Special Suspension for the Scientific Experiment Act.
What? The wreckage? The wreckage? But that being the case, how can the facts be established? How can it possibly be determined whether this was an accident or a deliberate and malicious act? Extremely simply, my lord. I beg your pardon? Isn't that right, witness? What? Sorry, me? No, your neighbor.
Yes, sir. It was murder. Plain and simple. Anyone could state that with complete certainty.
What? How can he possibly think that? Thank you, Inspector. I think we had better proceed to formal testimony. You will explain to the court on what grounds you claim this experiment to have been a front for murder.
the corpse that went crashing through the crystal tower had a broken neck.
I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam projection, that's all. That was my mistake.
But the post-mortem examination revealed another injury, a fatal wound. There was a lesion in his chest where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart. So the victim was killed before he went anywhere, and the fella, the only one could have done it. Okay, that don't sound right to me either.
An extraordinary business. In addition to suffering a broken neck, the victim was stabbed in the heart? Information I would really like to have heard from someone other than the judge.
The coroner says death would have been all but instant from the wound like that.
You could say, in fact, that the victim was killed twice by the accused. No! No, and no! That couldn't be further from the truth!
I have here the experiment plan document that was submitted by the secretary team. The victim stood himself inside something called the cage, ready to be beamed instantly. To the second level of the crystal tower, about 25 yards away.
The experiment did not go according to plan, however. As the machine was put into operation, there was a large explosion. The blast caused the beam transmitter to point higher than intended. Accordingly, the kinesis resulted in the birdcage materializing in midair. From where it subsequently fell, crashing through the glass of the crystal tower's large round window. My word! One assumes the victim's neck was broken upon impact with the tower, then? I'm so sorry! I didn't mean for this to happen! The machine was just too powerful! But honestly, really, I swear, it was just an accident, a terrible accident! Unfortunately, that excuse can't save you.
No, not constant, considering the sharp murder weapon that pierced the victim's heart.
Murder weapon? What are you saying? This is the autopsy report submitted by the coroner. The prosecution would like it entered into the court record. Your request is granted, counsel.
I was there in person, you know. I saw the luxurious performance. And the only other person on stage with Mr. Osman was the disgraceful excuse of a scientist.
Hey, Mooney, you back?
Hang on. That.
Hey.
Feeling okay?
Are you guys able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Then, really, by all accounts, it must have been him.
Hard to think otherwise, really.
Very well.
Square face.
Very well, counsel for the defense. Proceed with the cross-examination, please. Oh, yes, my lord. I need to focus here. Ow. It's been a while.
So yeah, I just disappeared, just like I had laundry to do.
Aye.
Oh, speaking of laundry, I figured like a good name for the laundromat.
Oh.
The psychedelic shower. It has LED.
actually-
It has LED lights inside of the washing machine, so that like you could see rainbow colors as it's spinning.
Shame!
The defense knew nothing of this crucial information. The prosecution received this report from the forensic investigation team only this morning. That was the first we knew of it as well. I can only apologize for the impossibility of informing the defense. Sarcastic and insincere? Thanks. So, what was the nature of this sharp object? Among the accused's tools that were in use at the demonstration, one is of particular interest. This. Ah, yes, that would appear to be some kind of screwdriver. Wouldn't it count to— Ah! There he is! My trusty little companion, Andrew! Andrew? Of course. Ah, do you know each other already? He's one of my dear friends, like all my tools. I've named them all, you know. We're one big happy family.
Cuckoo!
Scared.
Andrew is my flathead screwdriver, of course. His brother Michael is a crosshead.
Cuckoo!
Well, it would appear that your beloved Andrew has a red stain on his shank. Ah, that isn't... It's blood. Beyond all reasonable doubt. No!
And that's not all. The long sharp of this Andrew fella is completely consistent with the victim's wound.
What?
Okay, but like, you know how hard it is to do that to someone with a screwdriver.
Yeah.
Do you honestly think someone with such stringy arms would be able to do that?
Remember, this is the early 1900s. They didn't know this back then. Order! Order! The court will enter this friend of the defendant as evidence. So, one of Professor Harebrain's tools is the murder weapon? Great.
Fun. Walk, 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 walk.
What grounds do you have for saying that?
Aha! Do you really need to ask? There was only 2 people in public experiment stage in front of the whole crowd.
The victim, Mr. Odie Asman, and the accused, Professor Harebrain. And we know for certain that before the experiment, the victim was alive.
That's right! I saw him with my own eyes!
Furthermore, following the explosion and kinesis, nobody went anywhere near the body.
In other words, only someone else on stage with the victim could possibly have done it. Uh-oh, I see a cloud bubble.
Professor Harebrain, do you have some information that may be relevant here? Professor! Ah! Sorry! I was just calculating the optimum coefficient of electrolysis to separate molecules in the human body. And the witness stand is the best place for that? It seemed as though you might have something to say about Inspector Gregson's last remark. Ah! Ah ha 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 ha! Ha ha! Yes, that's right. Of course. He just said that nobody else could have done it, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Who else could have stabbed the victim, okay?
I don't know, but there's no way that I could possibly have stabbed Mr. Asman, as you say.
Eh?
Explain, please, Professor. Of course, this cold-hearted policeman may not be aware, I suppose. But humans are warm-blooded mammals with blood running continuously through their veins.
I heard.
Then surely you see. If I'd have plunged something the size of Andrew into the man's chest, the whole stage would have been a bloodbath. No, a blood swimming pool. Ah. But thousands of Londoners were watching me at the time. And yet not one of them claims to have seen a swimming pool of blood.
Well, no, I suppose not.
You see? Not one.
True. I didn't see anything like that.
Well done, Professor. That was a great counter-argument. Order! Order!
A Big Mac, please.
You can have your Happy Meal after the trial.
I want it now, Daddy!
And I want a squirrel.
I watched too
Oh,
much Willy Wonka over the week.
You went the Tim Burton route.
I want to go to Goose.
Ugh. I know what you're thinking. They can't be doing what they're doing, but they are. They have to. I haven't met the Oompa Loompa yet who can do it. Pray forgive the discourtesy if I savor a drop from my hallowed chalice to accompany my old friend's adducing. Here's to you, Albert. Oh, you're too kind, Barack. But I'm
He's
really
gonna
not
throw
a
it,
patch on
stupid.
No, you're not. No? You've neglected to mention one crucial possibility. I have? A particular situation in which very little bleeding would result from a stab wound.
Ah, of course.
Inspector, enlighten the court, please.
Yes, sir.
Where are they going with this? Very well. You will amend your formal testimony now, Inspector Gregson.
Oh, God. Beep, 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 beep.
I've seen this unusually shaped handle before. It's the same screwdriver that was lodged in the grill on the floor of the kinesis machine, which could be important information, so I should definitely make a note of it. You say that while the weapon remains in the body, there's very little bleeding. Is that unequivocal?
Look, there was no blood on the experimental stage, even though the fellow was stabbed. The only explanation for that is the screwdriver was still in the body, stopping any heavy bleeding.
It's common medical knowledge, my learned friend, even on your side of the world. Yes, but about this screwdriver. The thing is, we actually saw it at the scene ourselves, on the experimentation stage. What? It was on the floor by the wreckage of the machine, poking through a metal grill. I went to pick it up, but the detective here stopped me. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson?
Well, now that you come to mention it, yes.
Inspector, are we to understand that you permitted the defense counsel to investigate? That you contravened the Special Deposition for Scientific Equipment Act?
Not at all. I mean, I wouldn't do that. I'd just let him look. Nothing more. I was very clear that he wasn't to touch a thing.
Yes, that's true. This screwdriver was in plain sight on the stage. But it shouldn't have been, should it?
What are you getting at?
If this tool had still been in the victim's body when the victim was beamed away by the machine, then it shouldn't have still been on the stage. That's right. It should have been beamed across to the Crystal Tower along with Mr. Asman, and been still found lodged in the victim's chest.
Ah! Ah!
Order! Order! How do you explain this, Inspector?
I don't.
It looks as though everything that the victim had on his person moved with him when he was beamed. If the screwdriver was still in his chest when the instantaneous kinesis occurred, obviously that should have been beamed to the destination as well.
You.
This is a strange situation. Even though people are saying that this instantaneous kinesis is a scientific impossibility, we're still basing arguments on the assumption that it did actually take place. Alright, time to tighten the screws here. My lord, if the prosecution is unable to explain this inconsistency in its argument, we can only conclude that the testimony given in support cannot be relied upon. Lord Van Zeeks is stumped.
Like, it's like his contempt face.
It's like, you motherfucker. Do you have something to say, witness? Yes, I knew it. It bears out. The equations hold. Mr. Naruhodo, don't worry!
What?
About what?
What?
Good thing.
Without delving into the details, there is no inconsistency. What?
What?
Even if Andrew had been lodged in Mr. Asman's chest, my trusty tool wouldn't have moved. Andrew remaining on the stage is consistent with my calculations. What? What? Ow.
You fucking
Idiot.
You should shut your fucking. Ow!
It
How
would,
many times do I have to get hit with the fucking wine bottle?
Dude, I think you broke my arm this time.
it would seem your illusions have been shattered. Clearly, we should hear the accused's explanation.
Pun not intended, jackass!
Or should I say, this brilliant scientist's explanation. Just when I'd found an inconsistency in the prosecution's argument.
Ow.
Scientists. Very well, the defendant will testify again. Provide us with the scientific explanation as to why the inconsistency asserted by the defense fails to hold. In the name of Apollo, I will, my lord!
Oh.
Why to rely on us, on the god of the sun, dude?
To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data in my research. My hypothesis states the kinesis cannot transport metal, though. Hence, the metal weapon would have stayed put. In other words, the point just raised by Mr. Naruhodo isn't an inconsistency at all. Mr. Asman was the patron of my research. Without him, my work wouldn't have been possible. Now I have a duty to protect the incredible machine that we built together!
That's all of us right now.
Yeah. Even the judge, like, what the fuck?
So, the thrust of your testimony, Professor, is that based upon his hypothesis, metal objects cannot be moved by this method of instantaneous kinesis. In other words, since the screwdriver is made of metal, even if it remained lodged in the victim's chest, its subsequent discovery on the stage, despite the victim being found elsewhere, is not an inconsistency. And therefore, Professor Albert's harebrain could still have been the killer. My great hypothesis holds, you see! We had to make the cage used to contain the subject from wood for that very reason. I was not addressing you, witness. Professor Harebrain. Yes? Whose side are you on here? I don't take sides, Mr. Naruhodo. No, no, no. My only interest lies in upholding my hypothesis. I am a scientist, after all.
Dude, your ass is on the line.
Is he working for us or against us? It's very hard to tell.
Yeah.
He is sus.
Let's see how you cross it. Let's see how you cross-examine this testimony, my Nipponese friend. Yes, fire away, Mr. Naruhodo. Great Scott, this is heavy, Doc. Why are you trying to make me so I can't go back to the future? Because, Marty, I want you to be here with me in 1955. There are so many things I can learn from you in the 80s. Like exactly which sports teams to bet on. Professor Harebrain, you say that according to your hypothesis, nothing made of metal can be beamed by instantaneous kinesis using the machine you made. Is that right? Yes, that's right. Spot on. Exactly correct. In that case, I'd ask you to have a look at this photograph that was taken at the scene. In particular, I'd like you to pay attention to the victim's face. You can clearly see that Mr. Asman is wearing a pair of spectacles with a metal rim. What? Metal? No! Metal can't! That's not... metal? No! We've already established that the proposed murder weapon, the screwdriver, was found on the stage. However, if your hypothesis correctly predicted that outcome, it should also have predicted that the metal-rimmed spectacles would be found in the same place. Ah! My hypothesis! My hypothesis!
I think his brain just melted.
Yep.
My cabbages.
Professor Harebrain, this isn't easy for me to say, but your hypothesis is clearly flawed.
Oh! Where the hell did I go?
Order, order, order! You went to go get more fish and chips.
Well, apparently this judge don't make them.
No, why would I do that? I can make burgers.
And yet I'm still waiting on mine.
Delicious, delicious burgers, which many generations from now our descendants will be eating after trials.
Okay, Mr. Sandwich.
Counsel, what is the implication of this? If on the day in question the alleged instantaneous kinesis never actually took place, then it's entirely possible that the victim was killed somewhere other than on the stage. And in that case, someone other than the defendant could have been the culprit. But my hypothesis is sound! I proved it that day. The experiment was a success. The experiment was proof of all my work.
If I could say something here, in my capacity as a fellow of the Royal Society.
Yes, juror number 4, go ahead.
As a man of science, there's one thing I simply cannot abide. And that's a fraud who pretends to be a fellow man of science.
What? Wait! Great Scott! Are you suggesting my science is suspect?
It's just been disproven, hasn't it? In front of all of us. In other words, the whole demonstration was completely nonsense from the start to finish. Believe me, my fellow jurors, when I tell you that this man is a heel, a bouncer, and a fraud.
Oh.
I saw the wreckage of that machine. Oh, sorry, I say the wreckage of that machine should be stripped down and thoroughly examined.
He's gonna hit that. No! Never! That machine is the essence of my entire hypothesis!
He's gonna smack him in the head with a paper.
I am not a dog!
His brain's melting.
It's protected by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act.
What the devil is that blasted act all about, eh? Who made up such a daft rule?
And we'll go Grandpa.
I don't like the way this seems to be going. What's the best way for me to help the professor? Objection. Professor Harebrain has yet to perfect his invention. That would seem to be the case, yes? But even so, what? Going to such trouble and expense to create a fake machine to display in public. He would have absolutely no reason to do such a thing.
Objection!
He had an obvious reason to do exactly that. For the research grant money.
Nope. If the government was foolish enough to have deemed the man's ridiculous notion plausible, he and his conspirators would have received a handsome sum indeed.
Conspirators?
What would the value of such a grant? 10 pounds?
You're an order of magnitude out, madam. 500 pounds a year!
Dang.
Yet could have lived in Ansem on that much for years!
And you can have all the corn you want.
Back to this one. And the societies noticed an increase in bogus public demonstrations in the field of science recently. And plenty of scientists arguing with each other to get the largest slice of the funding cake. People greed is plenty and motive enough for murder, I assure you.
No! I haven't deceived anyone, least of all the government! My hypothesis is sound! The science is sound! Please, you must believe me!
Objection!
No matter how unbelievable this hypothesis may seem to you, ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains that the victim was transported instantly to the Crystal Tower. Which means that the experiment was a success. Ah, Barack! And therefore, the only person who could possibly have committed this murder is the accused. Ah, Barack.
Way to kill-
Oh.
Way to kill the mood!
Where is
Hi,
this
Barry.
heading?
What are you doing?
I have no idea.
It's like, okay, you know that joke that was like where the guy asked his wife, "Hey, honey, can you make me happy and sad at the same time?" That's what this reminded me of.
Oh god.
It's like, oh, hey, you're the biggest out of all your friends.
And they're all 1 inches, and you're just 2.
Oh!
Oh, I didn't know that last half. I just.
That's usually the joke. You're the biggest of all your friends, but they're all small, and you're just a little bit, you're just 1 inch bigger. My lord, if I may. Yes, Lord Van Zeeks? The prosecution would like to summon new witnesses to the stand. New witnesses? What would be the nature of their involvement? They were spectators of the demonstration at the exhibition, who were occupying special seats. Eyewitnesses? Oh, you're gonna love these characters.
Uh-oh.
Very well, the court grants the prosecution's request. I should very much like to hear from my witnesses to the incident. The prosecution's stance is clear. This experiment was no postetch. What is that word?
Postage?
I don't know
I'm
what
looking
that...
now.
Yeah, I've never heard of that word before.
E-O-S-T-I-T-C.
Let's get the definition before we continue.
Oh,
Good, I can
postage. Something false, a sham, or also a small hairpiece, a toupee. So
This experiment was no hair job. basically is what he's saying. The accused killed the financier victim there on the public stage before the very eyes of the spectators. Now, my learned friend. Oh, yes? It's time for you to make your own stance clear. There's clearly a flaw in the professor's hypothesis. I could definitely see that. But where does that leave me? We shall take a short recess now, during which time the prosecution will prepare its new witnesses to take the stand.
I call it the swings.
As you wish, my lord. Good. In that case, court is adjourned for 20 minutes. Oh, well, I guess you'll have to wait till next week to meet the new characters.
Oh man.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, because this trial is pretty long. I have to say, like, it's a lot longer than the first two cases. So
I can say that was a pretty short chapter.
yeah, well, compared to the other one, which was 3 hours, we just split it into 2. This one is actually like, yeah, we're gonna give the audience a break. They just went through a 3-hour investigation.
Tell me about it. I'm doing multiple characters tonight. My voice is about getting confused over here.
Well, I could basically tell you that there's gonna be these new characters have been fun to voice for me personally, because they are some of the most. There's gonna be European accents involved. Let me just say.
Oh no! I thought we were already doing European accents.
Because they're from all over the world. They're coming to England for the Great Exhibition. So it's like, oh, everybody from Europe came to this.
Gang's all here.
Well, crap. And I don't know how to voice my people with their accents.
No, don't
Shit.
worry. I got both of them covered because they're pretty tough ones. So
Yeah, I have enough trouble over here doing 3 characters.
I'm totally trying to remember my bug.
yeah, and we still haven't seen Sasato yet. So I mean, I'm not telling you when it happens.
He appeared
but
as a ghost.
I think we saw.
yeah, you did.
I'm a ghost.
Oh, and Gina does make an appearance in the next part. So
Ooh!
Time for me to prepare my ass.
I love Gina.
I mean, yeah, she was featured pretty heavily in the books.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Gina was the first name. I think Lestrade was the name, but I don't remember what the first name was. And I think they made her a man in the books, but they were just like, nah, we can make her a woman in the games. I mean, hey, there was that that Sherlock Holmes one where Lucy Liu was Watson, and I can't remember who played Sherlock, but
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm gonna look this up.
Uh-oh. You got our resident historian going after information now.
Let's see. Johnny Lee Miller.
never heard of him.
Okay, he was Simon Sickboy Williamson in the dark comedy drama Trainspotting.
Oh my God!
Oh,
I haven't seen that movie in years.
I've never seen it.
God,
Ed Murphy and Hackers.
I never saw Hackers.
It is
An Afterglow,
Circus.
Mansfield Park, The Flying Scotsman. Not Avengers Endgame, but regular Endgame, the British film.
Never. Okay.
T2 Trainspotting.
Yeah, that's the sequel.
Yes, Mooney.
Trainspotting is basically if you see Requiem for a Dream, but British version.
Yeah, it's like a fucked up British movie. But I mean, hey, it made Ewan McGregor's career, and that's how he became Obi-Wan, because of Trainspotting.
Well, I never seen it anyway, so I'm gonna have to get on that one.
It didn't. I'll say the circus. It didn't age well. So, it was a product. It was a product of the mid '90s, and when the
Dude,
sequel,
half the fucking movies I grew up with didn't age well. Come on.
well, that is true. I mean, it's kind of
It-
like it's kind of
it's-
like watching. What were those two characters? Oh God, that were in Clerks.
Dante and Brandel.
No. Like they had their own separate thing. Like
Jay and Silent Mob.
Yes, those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they got their own movie, yeah, those didn't age very well either.
Well, welcome to the world of Kevin Smith.
Yeah. Oh, and what was it? Benedict. Oh, yeah. Wow, we had two Avengers actors playing Sherlock. We had Robert Downey Jr., which I didn't believe for a second when I saw those movies. I'm like, this is way too actiony for a Sherlock Holmes movie. And then, what was it? The Benedict Cumberbatch BBC series. That was pretty good. I would recommend watching that if it's on if you get a chance to get a BBC subscription. Yeah, but other than that, like there hasn't been any very many versions out there, except for this guy, who's now wearing I don't even know what type of I don't even know what to call his outfit now. But anyway,
I don't know.
I will tell you. So the next week, what we're gonna be learning is there's gonna be a balloon man, and there's gonna be a rich aristocrat on the stand. That's what I can at least tell you. But
Why did I picture Bubble Buddy when he said fucking Balloon Man for some reason?
I don't
Him
know.
or Pops from either him or Pops from regular show.
SpongeBob, that Bubbles gotta go. Oh no, he already took care of that. But thanks for your concern. My friend's in there. Congratulations. It's his first
Every-
time. It's his first time on his own. Once again, congratulations. 2 hours is long enough. Although we're only going for an hour. All right, next time around, we will find out who these witnesses are. And will Sasato ever goddamn return from Japan? We will never know. But we actually
To be continued.
will. To be continued. Until then, good night, everybody. Enjoy the wine that Van Zeeks threw into the crowd.
Ow!
Bye.
And
Hard
I'm
to glass.
st- and I got some right in my face.
And my stepmother wants to call me shit.
Oh, you can have some burgers on the judge. All right, everybody. Farewell. Bye.
Alright, bye.
Ow, bye.